Hey, it's Nikki.
And it's Brie.
And we're
Late to the Party,
a podcast about the film, fashion, and pop culture that shaped us into the weirdos that we are. And today we are welcomed by the Rom Complex, Shelby and Sam. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hi. And we're going to talk about Anyone But You, a blockbuster rom-com in the Lord and Savior 2024. Who would have guessed?
Did y'all see this in theaters, by the way, or
no?
Either.
Yeah, I watched it illegally on a website when it first came out because I was so intrigued by what was going on with this film. And then watched it again in high def yesterday. So
I thought about seeing it on Valentine's Day when they re-released it, but instead I saw Madam Web. So sorry, I just watched this yesterday.
How was Madam Web? Just out of curiosity.
It's so bad that it's fun to watch. One of those.
So still Sydney Sweeney, though.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, you still had her.
Boy, will I say her performance in Anyone But You, dare I say it, worse than her performance in Madam Web. So I don't know what
So
she was.
funny.
A lot of times in Anyone But You, it seemed like she was so proud of herself for remembering the line that she just said. And I liked her in Euphoria.
Lines are hard. Okay.
You're right.
It's hard to say words.
It is.
But, well, before we get into Anyone But You, can you tell us a little bit about the Rom Complex before we get too much into the weeds? Because there's things to talk about with this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
The Rom Complex, we are a podcast about rom-coms and the ways that we think about relationships and how those two things play off of each other. So kind of a lot of the stuff that you talk about here. And Sam and I have been going for over 200 episodes now.
That's awesome.
Old hats.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You're like the Glen Powells of podcasts.
Exactly. I say that to myself all the time.
We should start making merch that says that.
Yeah.
Glen Powell rom-coms.
Love it. Well, you guys talk about rom-coms and, like you just said, this is the first rom-com in a while that I think the rom-coms of the Julia Roberts, Hugh Grant pairings, it's always a pairing.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't gotten that in a really long time. So with Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell, it's like two up and coming actors. What are your thoughts on Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell?
Oh, I have so many thoughts. So many. I think I agree with you. I don't think we get very many. Gosh, Sam, use words. Very many pairings like that in rom-coms anymore. I think the closest that our generation has to that is probably like the Emma Stone Ryan Gosling pairing, because they seem to work well off of each other and they have great chemistry. I don't see it for Glenn and Sydney. The chemistry was not chemistrying for me, and I think it's probably, and I hate to blame the woman, but I do think it's Sydney's fault because we've seen Glen Powell in a rom-com. He did the one with Zoe Deutsch, and that chemistry off the charts. Absolutely fantastic. He knows how to work within the genre very well. And so I just don't think Sydney Sweeney should do comedies. That's my personal hot take.
Yeah, do we think Sydney Sweeney was miscast?
She might have been.
I think what they did was they were like, let's get some really hot people and have them star in this movie. And they didn't take it any further than that. So I do think she was miscast. And I think that this movie, like, it makes her look like she's a bad actor.
It does.
And I don't
Is
know.
it the writing though?
I don't know. Well, okay.
Because have y'all seen White Lotus?
It's bad. Yes.
I feel
I
like
think
she's
she does
very
really well on
believable.
Yeah, she does really well on White Lotus. I think Sydney is a dramatic actor. I don't think she has found that balance in comedy with like because there's a lot of like random physical bits in this movie. You know, they're
Some of the best parts, I think.
yeah, exactly. But it's like she doesn't know how to do it believably. It's almost like you can see her cringing at the bit that's supposed to be like earnest. I don't know if that makes sense. But I think she's a really good dramatic actor. She's great on Euphoria, great in White Lotus. I've heard she's amazing in this immaculate horror movie that's out right now. I just don't think like romantic comedy. I think you have to have a specific skill set to be good in a rom-com.
Definitely. I don't think she's probably had a chance to work that muscle in her defense, but yeah, it's not like a Jennifer Lawrence or an Emma Stone where you like their personality radiates off the screen. I don't know who Sydney Sweeney is, so it doesn't really do her any favors.
Yeah, you're totally right. And it kind of is to the point where it's like, does she want to be doing this? Like, I kind of felt like she didn't want to be doing this movie at all. And again, I don't necessarily think it says anything about her like level of talent or what she's capable of. I do think it is like a lot of things came together for this movie to be very disappointing.
I don't know. I enjoyed this movie.
I enjoyed this movie as well.
Really?
I think
I like it. I liked it in a this is not a good movie way. Like I had fun watching it, but it's not something that I'm like, everybody should watch this movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not like maybe like the best rom-com ever, but it's not too shabby for like the drought that we've had, I feel.
Yeah, my bar
like
is so low. I want to give you this. I'm being fed.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll take what I can get these days.
I am more excited about like some other ones coming out, like the Fall Guy coming out, and I feel like there are other rom-coms coming out soon that I'm like, this now
Bridgerton season 3. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Twister. I was just thinking of it. Twister.
Oh yes.
Glen Powell looks great in Twisters. I'm really excited to see him in that. He looks hot as hell.
What is this? Is this a remake of the Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton Twister?
It's like a sequel.
Yeah, it's a sequel.
Whoa.
Yeah. Check out that trailer because Shelby is not wrong. He looks great in the trailer. And it also
like
has
dirty and wearing a cowboy hat. Yeah.
Yeah, it also has oh gosh, what's her name from Normal People? Oh gosh, I can't remember the actress's name. And I freaking love
in
I
that
freaking
movie
love that
with
show.
Sebastian
Stan. I know
Stan.
who you're talking about too.
Yeah.
Yes. We all know. The girl from that one thing. Yeah, she's in it as well. And I think there's supposed to be like a romantic thing between her and Glen Powell in the movie. So I'm ready.
Ooh.
Romance and tornadoes.
I love Glen Powell though. This is the highlight of the movie for me is Glen Powell.
Yes.
He's very charming.
Totally agree.
He seems like a really charming person just in general. Even from like the interviews. I know there was a lot of drama surrounding this film, which is why I was excited to see it and why I was a little let down because I thought everyone was like, their chemistry is insane. So much so that they ended their relationships with other people, you know?
Oh, like in real life?
Like, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know about that.
Yes.
I think Sydney Sweeney was engaged. And that engagement is off and Glen Powell had a girlfriend and they're not together anymore. So it was like I was expecting and to be
because they were
fair,
Titanicing.
Yeah.
That one scene.
Exactly. It was that one time they were like, we have to break up. I'm so sorry.
No, I agree. I heard about it and like the headlines were, since Glen Powell broke up with his girlfriend and unfollowed Sydney Sweeney, or she unfollowed him, it was a big drama, but it was clear to me, at least, it was a PR stunt because it's just like, how could things fall into place so perfectly, But I live for a PR stunt. I love a PR relationship.
Love a PR stunt. Yeah. I think, well, and I also think, I don't know if you guys kind of experienced this in real time. I know I did, and I know I shared this with Shelby when it was happening. I was super excited for the movie to come out, and then the trailer dropped, the first trailer, and I was like,
Mhm.
wait, what is this supposed to be? Because it was almost like a 50 Shades of Grey knockoff trailer. Like it had the same kind of music with the beat drops and all this stuff. And I was like, wait, I thought this was gonna be like fun. What's going on?
Yeah, that initial trailer did not do it justice. I also had no clue this was directed by the guy who did Easy A. So like the
Wait,
humor
what?
makes sense. Yeah. Will Gluck.
I did not figure that out until just now. Wow. My
That's
mind is
so
blown.
funny. I looked him up and for some reason was only seeing stuff about Peter Rabbit and Peter Rabbit 2. So I was like, oh, it's the guy
Wait,
who
we
did
love
Peter
Peter
Rabbit
Rabbit
2.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah. He also did, oh goodness, where is it? He did Friends with Benefits with Mila
Which one?
Kunis and Justin
That's the Mila
Timberlake.
Kunis one.
Yeah.
Which I
better
also
one.
thought, yeah, which I also thought was funny.
Yeah. This one, I guess, just fell flat for me. I think it was partially, it just seemed rushed. Like I felt like the script and everything could have used punch up. Like just one good funny writer, maybe someone named Shelby could have gone in there and like punched up the writing and the jokes
Mhm.
just to make it sharper and better, because I feel like it's kind of half done where they set up like kind of the dialogue and the jokes and everything just halfway and they're like, you get it. And it just seems lazy, especially for a movie that has like all this budget going into it, you know?
Yeah, and a lot I feel like plot wise, things happen very quickly, at least in the beginning. Like the pacing might be a little off, but
yeah, because there's like a time jump after like the first 10 minutes.
yeah.
So you're just like, oh, okay, right, okay, yeah, we're trucking along, and then I think it jumps time twice.
It does. Well, the first time jump confused me to all get out because I thought it said 6 years instead of 6 months. And I was so confused.
It flashed
They're
fast.
different
It was like,
people. Yeah.
I was like, why do they look exactly the same and haven't progressed at all?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And then it jumps in time again to her sister getting married, which I think the reason that I enjoyed this movie was majorly because of the fact that it is a Shakespeare adaptation,
Yes.
which I didn't know. And that was one of the big reasons I watched it the first time was I was like, let's freaking go. Much Ado About Nothing is one of my favorites. I think it's such a fun Shakespeare play, and I was really interested to see what they would do with it. It's there. It's, they hit on it a little bit. It's a little bit there.
What are your thoughts on? I know it was super big in the 90s, early 2000s to do like the Shakespeare adaptation. What's your thoughts on it modern day?
I mean, I love a 90s, early 2000s Shakespeare adaptation. Like, and to be completely fair, I don't think we could do better than like She's the Man or 10 Things I Hate About You. Like, I don't think we can get better than that. So people can try. They can try. But She's the Man will always be top tier.
Was Anyone
Agreed.
But You based on a book?
Mm-mm.
It's not based on a book?
I believe it's
Wow.
just based on
You're right.
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
This whole time I watched it thinking it was a book first. And I'm like, oh, well, they probably had to do it that way because it's hard to translate it from a book. No, now I'm even more upset. They should have let me write this movie.
Call them right now. Get Sydney and Glenn on the phone. They can probably do something.
They were in talks for Anyone But You too,
oh,
which I don't know how that would work.
same
But
Yeah, me
cast
neither.
and everything, or like they resolved the conflict too. What would they?
yeah, what
I
would
could
you
figure
do?
something out. New couple. A new like partially related couple, and this is what they do in romance novels too, right? Like they tell a love story, and then they'll be like, oh, the main guy's best friend now has to have a love story. So I would take Anyone But You. I'd take some side character, maybe his friend, what's his name, who had the dog or whatever, give him a love story.
Yeah. Would you also
Anyone
base
But
it on a
Two.
Shakespeare?
Two. Yeah, why
Anyone
not?
But Two is what it
Anyone
should be
But
called.
Two. That's genius.
Yeah. See,
Good.
we're just out here making movies and Hollywood's not calling. So I don't know what's wrong with them.
Anyone but two, it's gonna your phone's gonna be ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
But
Will Gluck.
he can make anything happen. I like firmly believe this. With anyone but you, I feel like Will Gluck did kind of put his Easy A magic on it a little bit. I think that's when it works. It's when it's slapstick.
Yeah, that's the best. I think I love like in the beginning where it looks like she pees her pants and she has to like dry. She's like trying to dry her pants and they cut to her. Like it's just so silly.
Yeah. Let's talk about that meet cute, the bathroom key meet cute.
Yes.
It's so cute.
Yeah. So like Ben and B first meet. She has to use the restroom and they won't let her in because of the bathroom key. And he's like, this is my wife.
They
I love that
improvise the scene together.
Yeah. That's Shelby's favorite meet cute genre of meet cute is the improv scene. But also, like, I love that he went straight to wife. He was like, you know what? I could say girlfriend. I could say sister. I could say best. I could say so many words. Let's jump straight to wife.
Yeah. No, I love that. He's like all in already.
Yeah. He's just very confident. Yeah. He's very like, listen, it would work on me. Not gonna lie.
He's very slick. He's like, this babe needs to pee. I am in line already. I'm gonna save the day. Guys love to save the day. Girls love to save the day too. Honestly, anyone loves to save the day.
That's true. That superiority complex really shining through.
Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking, man, I love to save the day is what I'm hearing here.
No, I totally relate. Has this ever happened to you guys? So when Sydney Sweeney's character goes into the bathroom, she's like on the phone with her sister. Like, oh my God, I met this great guy. She, like the spigot on the sink flies all over her, making it look like she wet her pants. And she's just in there just drying with the hand dryer her pants. And it's like taking forever.
It's like one of those old hand dryers.
Yeah.
That you have to hit the button every like 10 seconds because it doesn't even really stay on.
I thought about this and I think I would have just owned it. I would have been like, listen, I didn't pee you can believe me or not, but I didn't pee my pants. I gotta get out of here.
I kind of thought that's what was gonna happen. That would have been pretty funny.
Or just commit to peeing your pants. Like, well,
I did it.
I didn't make it.
I didn't make it.
I appreciate all your work, but it didn't help.
But he does stop her because she does have toilet paper on her shoe. And she has a very sweet, you know, like he takes it and kind of she's none the wiser that she had TP on her shoe. So sweet.
Yeah. He didn't embarrass her, which I think is super cute. And it also kind of like shows it's like the difference between once they're like hating each other, right? Is that he wants to do stuff that embarrasses her or make her feel like shit. But at this moment when he is like, hey, maybe something's going on here, he's super sweet to her. And I'm like, okay, so he can be nice. He's just, you know, being a dick.
Choosing violence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. He's nice. He's so nice that whole time. And it's like, can you keep it up?
Like they have this fantastic date where he makes her grilled cheese.
Oh yeah, it's like a whole montage of just grilled cheese making and them like walking. Yeah.
Yeah.
The grilled cheese is the star of the show. That sucker looks so beautiful in that pan. I was like, wow, if only I could make a grilled cheese that looks like that.
Major takeaway.
Yeah. And like she bites it and he's like, oh my God, you have to wait, which is like, I love that little dynamic where it's like, I too would bite into a too hot grilled cheese.
Oh yeah.
And my boyfriend would be like, well, you have to wait. And I would be like, no, I refuse to. Yeah, it's really cute. They like fall asleep and like holding each other. It's really sweet.
Yeah, he tells her about like the wrench that his mom got him, like that sculpture. Kind of odd, but it's like, all right.
Yeah, a reminder that like you can fix anything that's broken or something, which is sweet.
Yeah, but why does he have that ATM in his apartment? This is the one answer we
they never
get.
answered it. Yes,
They
you're
never
right.
answered
That's why we
it.
need anyone but two to
Anyone
answer
but
that
two.
question.
Listen, Will Gluck, call me. I've got a lot of ideas.
We'll get to work. We'll work on the spec script. Pass it along to Will.
Yes.
What is Glen Powell? What is his job?
I think he's
like
a
finance,
a stock trader. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they showed his computer and it had like the stock like graph.
And he keeps
was,
talking
like,
about working
monitoring
at
stuff.
Goldman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goldman.
All the
like,
crazy
Goldman
stuff
Sachs.
he did. Well, yeah, well, he worked at Goldman, which was really douchey, but he pulls it off. He's so cute.
I know Glen Powell is like set it off as well. He plays this kind of like Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does it really well because
Yeah.
he's still charming and he's got that like, you know, charming little smile and you can tell he's messing with you and it's hot. We like it. We like Glen Powell.
Yeah, I think he has a thing going for him where he might not have been born super good looking.
So he
I
has to
don't
be
know,
humble as
but
well. Yeah.
There's a humility to him that's really cute.
Yeah. He didn't look like Chris Evans, you know, in high
He
school.
was in Spy Kids 2, 3.
He was in Spy Kids 3D.
What?
He was like one of the gamer boys or something.
I love this for him. The first time I saw Glen Powell was in Scream Queens.
It's Chad.
As Chad. So it really is his MO. And I was like, wow, this man is not my type of handsome, but goodness, do I like watching him on screen.
Love it. So yeah, they have this like one magical night together. And then Sydney Sweeney's character just leaves. She just disappears.
Up and leaves in the morning.
Yeah. Just like we were just talking about Sex in the City on y'all's podcast. She pulls a Mr. Big and turns right back around. It was like, I made a great mistake. And he overhears, she overhears Glen Powell's character, Ben, and the rapper bro. I think he's a rapper in real life, right?
Is he?
I kind of did a Wikipedia tickle on it, but whatever his name is.
You know what? Good for him. You know what he had in this movie? Energy.
He did.
He had a lot of energy, and I'll give him credit for that.
But anyways, Glen Powell's character is like, I'm not into her, you know. He just drags her through the mud.
Yeah, he says she's a mess and he basically talks down about her, like really insulting and something that if you overheard it, you would be embarrassed too.
Yeah,
like
he literally said she's like
about
nothing.
Yeah,
she's a nothing person.
He's like, I couldn't get rid of her fast enough. Like, listen, I have too much fire in me to have let that go. I'm sorry, Sydney, but she just took it and she left. I would have been like, are you joking? I would storm back into his apartment and fight with him and get him to apologize.
But
I don't like the whole concept of like overhearing someone say something, because to me, I'm like, well, if they thought I needed to know something, they would tell me. Basically, if I overheard something like that, I would immediately confront them and be like, hey, what do you mean by that?
Hey. Why are you saying these awful things? Yeah.
Please explain yourself, because it doesn't line up with like what I was thinking happened. And then I'd make him explain it.
Yeah.
Just like barge in, like, hold up.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my
Run
house
the tape back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, that's the moment that they become enemies. They turn from lovers to enemies.
It's real quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And thus the Much Ado About Nothing storyline begins.
And there it is.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the friends to lovers trope? Because that's huge in romantic comedies.
Friends to lovers is a good one, and I will let Sam take it because I know it's one of her favorites.
Friends to lovers. I like friends to lovers, but I'm more of a like long-term friends to lovers. I love we've known each other since childhood. life and all these things. And like, I had a crush on you when I was 13, but then I got over it because you were dating other girls and you didn't even like me. And then they're adults and they're like, wait a second, we're in love. But I do love enemies to lovers, which is what we have with these two. There's something about like enemies to lovers creates such a good tension between romantic leads that you're just like, when is it gonna pop? And like, I want to see that moment. So I get really happy about it.
With that trope, you always get that fire chemistry, or you'd hope
Yeah.
you would get that fire chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
All that.
What
hate.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's not just bad stuff, right? It's like you alternate between these positive interactions and these negative interactions, and they keep getting more and more intense in both directions. And that's what makes you feel all of that like tension and like dying for people to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that enemies to friends or enemies to lovers.
What's the best rom-com that handles this trope?
Oh, enemies to and friends to lovers is, I mean, to me, hands down, it's When Harry Met Sally, because it's talking about like, can men and women be friends, and then like they start out enemies,
mail, but
that works too. Yeah,
that works great in the enemies to lovers situation too. I love it. And then like even more recently for like friends to lovers, you've got Plus One, the movie with oh gosh, Maya Erskine. And yeah, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I just know he's Meg Ryan's son. Meg Ryan's son.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. See, got it. I think that one handles like friends to lovers really realistically, in the sense that they agree just to be each other's plus ones to these weddings and like everything's cool, but all this romance and being together all the time and really like diving into getting to know each other on a deeper level because you're spending so much time together, and it's like, wow, maybe we like each other. So cute. I love that movie.
I love that slow burn too. Like with the like they spend a lot of time together. That's what I like in rom-coms, when it's like, oh, they're like doing something to like a My Best Friend's Wedding, like the Rupert Everett, Julia Stiles, or Roberts. Kind of sort of. He's gay, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I totally get
they're on
that.
like an adventure. They have like some kind of activity that forces them to hang out a lot more than they normally would.
And this movie has activities.
It does.
Oh yeah. A lot
this
of
movie
activity.
really wants you to know how beautiful Australia is.
Yeah. I was gonna say, why did they set it in Australia? It doesn't.
Of Our Lips Are Sealed, the Mary-Kate and Ashley film.
Listen, we just did a whole Mary-Kate and Ashley month, and we didn't get to Our Lips Are Sealed.
What are you doing?
I know. But that's the last time I saw a movie in Australia. Set in Australia, so it's been a while.
So on the plane ride over to Australia, we get the first taste of the slapstick comedy, maybe the best airplane scene since Bridesmaids.
Oh yeah, where she steals his like cookie.
His cookie.
Yeah.
That scene.
She sees, I mean, and it makes sense. He's in like first class, so she's of course he's sleeping. She's like, I'm gonna steal this man's cookie.
As she should.
And she's like crawling all over him and gets her sweater stuck and is just like straddling this man with her butt in his face. But he's asleep and he misses all of it. And you know what? Well, any man would probably be very sad to find out that he was asleep for all of that.
That lady that was seated a few seats away from him getting a peep was also like,
right.
Yeah. Like she puts her blindfold right back. She's like, I didn't see anything. It's none of my business.
She's like, listen, this plane ride is long enough. You do what you got to do. I'm going back to sleep. Yeah, I would have stolen his cookie too if I was B and I saw him. I'd immediately.
But then she gets to find out his like serenade song, which is Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield.
Of course it is.
The perfect song. I
really
love
the
it.
perfect song.
It says a lot about you if that's what you listen to calm down.
It gives us a good glimpse into Ben's character.
What does the unwritten say about a man? A big fan of the hills back in the day, or
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yeah,
that's it.
wow. He's really into girlhood, it sounds.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's supposed to be like, oh, Ben, he's this macho stock trader guy, but he's, he's relatable. He's goofy, right? You need to give him some like, because if he's just a stock bro, no one's really gonna like him. But so he needs to have some little quirks for the audience to be like, yep, I want that man.
I think that they were like, we have the rights to this song. How can we use it?
Oh, they really use that song, like especially at the end, like so much.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the use of unwritten in this
Yes.
film? The best
It's
part
over
of the
and
film.
over. Yeah. And they come back to it like multiple times.
Yeah.
Like they come back to it, they call back to it once, and then they call back to it like 2 or 3 more times after that.
And then there's the whole credit sequence with just all of the cast at various moments. You can tell the minute they got the rights to that song, all their like, when they were filming, they're like, hey, let's get a clip of you singing this song.
Like
They
replaced
it up. Yeah.
I love that though about like romantic comedies that have like a good soundtrack, Like I feel like that really, it has that going for it,
Yeah. I think the use of unwritten was my favorite part of the movie, if I'm being honest. I was like, yeah, let's get it, Natasha Bedingfield. Get your coin. Let's have fun.
I'm going to go with naked Glen Powell. Best part of the movie.
You're really into Glen Powell these days, aren't you?
I didn't like the movie, but I did. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I didn't like the movie, but I'm like, you know what? I did like Glen Powell.
Focus on the positives.
Exactly. Exactly. If you don't have something nice to say, talk about Glen Powell.
The spider scene is one of the highlights, in my opinion.
For Glen, I love the.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I love the overreaction of it. I think Glen is really good at the physical comedy, so the fact that he just immediately gets naked and throws all of his clothes off a cliff without a second thought. I was like, that is exactly how that character would react to something like that. 100%. And then the realization when Sydney just quickly is like, nope, I'm good. And he's like, yeah, that would have been smarter. It's just such a good, he sells it so well in that scene.
He does. It's like in one single swoop, he takes off all his clothes.
Yeah. That's incredible. The
wild.
Speed.
It's right off a cliff too. Just
I love how she gives off clothes.
But the big setup is so Sydney Sweeney's character B, the whole family's there for her sister's wedding, which is Ben's friend's sister's wedding.
Her sister is marrying his like childhood friend.
Yes.
So his friend and the friend's sister all grew up together.
They go to Sydney for this wedding, and the parents, played by Dermot Mulroney and some other peeps, they're trying to get B back with her ex-boyfriend, and Glen Powell's character has a big crush on this Aussie lady who looks like she could be in Our Lips Are Sealed with Mary-Kate and Ashley. Like hit a Diet Coke on the head. She looks very much like that. But in order to kind of keep those relationships at bay, they decide to have this ruse, like they're together, B and Ben. So they're trying to like touch each other's butts on a cliff, and no one's looking at them.
Yeah.
And there's like layers to, I mean, that's where the Shakespeare comes in. Cause first, like everyone's trying to convince B and Ben to be together by like faking conversations for B and Ben to overhear. Which is funny because this whole thing started because she overheard a conversation, right? So like the entire movie is based on people overhearing conversations. So they're doing fake conversations for B and Ben to overhear, and B and Ben are like, this is ridiculous. Why don't we do our own fake stuff for them to overhear? So they're trying to like fake be affectionate and they cannot get it right. They're like sticking their hands inside each other's pants. Like,
So
and that's
wrong.
where that's where she finds a spider in his pants.
Well, maybe it's good. She was
Yeah,
there.
maybe.
then.
Yeah.
She kind
He
of
wouldn't
saved his
have known.
life.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's a big spider. It was a huntsman spider. It's a huge spider.
It was real too, from what I know. In production, she actually had to hold a spider, and that's when I would quit. If I was an actor, absolutely not. You're not putting a spider on my hand. We're not doing it.
According to this thing I just read, the spider bit her.
It bit her. Yeah.
Nope. Being an actor sounds horrible.
Nope.
Why can't they CGI that, you know?
Right?
Right?
And do it for the art.
You're like,
You
"Get
want
bit
me to
by a
believe no animals were harmed? Then don't use any real animals. That's what I'm saying.
That spider is probably thriving. He bit
Right.
Sydney Sweeney and was like, I'm great. I'm good.
He's telling all his spider friends,
Right.
guys, you think
People's
you're cool.
Choice Award.
But what was I gonna say? Goodness, lost my train of thought. So focused on the spiders, fabulous.
Honestly,
Spiders will do that. Yeah.
I had a run-in with a spider over the last weekend, and it was absolutely awful. And it was not even close to the size of that huntsman spider in this movie. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good with spiders. I don't want them.
No. Does anyone like spiders?
I tolerate them now because I know that they protect me from other bugs. But
Mhm.
my deal is I don't want to, they're allowed to live in my apartment as long as I don't see them, feel them, or know they're there in any way.
Yeah.
That's my deal too. And I say that proudly in my apartment. I'm like, hey, I know you're here. I see you. You're dead. So unfortunately, the run-in that I had, he didn't listen to my warning. So
Gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah. I did, but I reacted in a similar way to Sydney Sweeney, the way that she reacted. I was like I was screaming alone in my apartment when the spider appeared and then trying to kill it. I was like screaming the whole time. So my neighbors probably got a fun little entertainment bit for the night.
So that Australian girl, Margaret, is like Ben's ex, right? Like they were together and he still like has feelings for her. He like looks at pictures of them together still. Like, and she's really cool.
She is really cool.
She is. Yeah.
She wears her bikini top upside down. Did anybody notice
Yeah.
I thought that was
Fashion.
odd.
That was fashion.
Yeah.
I've seen it on TikTok.
Is that what people
I've
do?
also seen it.
Yeah.
Apparently it's like a new thing. You just tie it upside down.
And it's just a different look.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into this.
Yeah.
She also technically started without any bikini top in that
That's
scene.
true. We did see
So
her breasts.
she can do whatever she wants with the
Work.
top once she puts it on.
She's just like a really cool, chill person where she's like, yeah, I'm seeing this guy. He's really strong and athletic and we have great athletic sex, like that's like, it's funny that then that B automatically knows it's like, oh, she'll totally want to sleep with you if she thinks we're not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I guess that little bit of jealousy is like enough to get someone going.
That's all I think in real life, that's all you need sometimes.
It's true. Just make someone a little bit off limits and suddenly they're so much hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like once you become a little more, little less accessible, you become infinitely more attractive.
Yeah. And that's why I'm in love with a lot of celebrities because they're not attainable to me.
That's why you're in love with fictional characters.
And also that because they're not real. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, speaking of fictitious characters, so one of the big moments in the trailer and in the movie is when Sydney Sweeney's B is like, we got to do the Titanic.
I love this scene.
Yes.
Who doesn't want to do
It's
the
really funny.
Titanic if you have the opportunity? You're on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The explanation for it is kind of weird. She's like, it's so cringy that we would only do it if we're in those very beginning stages of a relationship where you don't mind that things are cringy because you're showing each other that you care enough. It was just like this weird explanation for why them doing the Titanic was like a good sign and meant that they were like together and like at the early stages. I didn't understand the reasoning. I think you could have just been like, I want to do Titanic me. I want to do a Titanic.
Yeah.
Titanic me, they'll eat it up. Let's go.
It works. Yeah. Everyone's watching and they're like, whoa.
And she looks great. Sydney Sweeney looks absolutely stunning throughout this whole film.
Yeah.
I'm like, every outfit she puts on, that blue like silk number she's wearing in the scene with the little neck thing is like super cute. And yeah, they look believable to me. The only reason I've never tried to do the Titanic thing on a boat is because I'm afraid I'll fall off the boat, which is
just like what happens.
What happens. Yeah. So this is my warning. It's like, remember that thing you wanted to try? Never do it. Just
but what
don't
if someone
do it.
jumps after you? Isn't that romantic? I mean,
yeah, it's romantic, but then like we both die. So is it?
I
don't want it.
Yeah.
You get picked up by a helicopter like they did in this movie.
It's just that I think Sydney's reaction in this moment is so relatable to me because she's just like, we're gonna get hypothermia, and he's like, the water's like 80 degrees, so we're fine. And then she's like, we're gonna get eaten by sharks, and he doesn't say anything. Would be
like,
my immediately. I'd be like, oh my god, no, a shark's gonna get us. Oh no. I'm also terrified of the ocean and open water, so
Me too,
it's literally this whole bit is my nightmare. I mean, they do really well, and I like the conversation that they have on the buoy where they finally like talk to each other as opposed to just getting at each other. But that little like 2 minutes of them in the water, terrifying. I'm like, this is now a horror movie to me.
I thought it was really romantic that he jumped in after her because they already set up that she is a very strong swimmer and he is not a very strong swimmer. So it's kind of dumb. He did it unthinkingly, just like, oh my gosh, she's back there. I have to jump in and be with her because she would be fine. But then like having him there, they're like, okay, let's swim to this buoy. We're fine. We're not going to get eaten by sharks.
I love it.
I do love like that soft boy trope in films like this, or like you know, how he's like a stockbroker who can do no wrong, like manly man, and he can't swim.
He can't swim.
He's hot girl fit, which I think is funny. He's like, no, I'm not. I just love he has such great reactions too. Like he's someone that if I was B in this situation, I would be doing things purposefully to get a rise out of him because it seems so easy to do. And I just love it. I would mess with him constantly.
So good. Glen Powell is the new rom-com man in my eyes.
Oh,
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Me too. Sign him up.
Also, I'm just realizing the Easy A kind of connection. I mean, Easy A is based on the Scarlet Letter, which is not Shakespeare, but the same kind of jam.
That's true.
Natasha Bedingfield songs. Easy A, Pocket Full of Sunshine.
Wow. Do you think that Will Gluck just has like an unspoken agreement with Natasha Bedingfield? He's like, listen, give me the rights to whichever song I want to put in this movie.
He's a fan.
Yeah.
He just likes her. That's his favorite pop star.
I love that.
I didn't even put that together. That's
maybe
so
that scene in the airplane was autobiographical for him, you know? Like that's what he listens to.
Yeah.
To calm himself down on the planes.
Yeah.
Ben is very scared of heights, right? And afraid of flying. So when they're getting airlifted from the buoy into the helicopter, because like they fell into the harbor patrol has to come with a helicopter. He's freaking out, right? He's like, he doesn't do heights. He's getting airlifted into a helicopter. That helicopters are already scary enough. And B kind of returns the favor of him jumping in the water after her because she just starts singing Unwritten to him. And he's like, how did you know my song, my Serenity song or whatever? And she's like, don't worry about it. She just sings to him. It's sweet.
I think that might be my favorite scene. That and the spider.
Yeah.
My favorite part about the spider scene is when they like rejoin the group and try to act like nothing happened, but he's like wearing, I don't know if it's her, I think it's her shorts.
He's wearing her shorts.
Yeah, and they look like little bikini bottoms because they're so small on him. I'm like, and they just try to act like nothing happened, which I just think is so funny.
Because no one saw it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did all that and no one even saw it. They were looking
Mhm.
at a koala bear the whole time.
Yeah.
This is great. Any other highlights? Any favorite scenes?
I was gonna say the sex scene was pretty steamy. Let me not even pretend that it wasn't. Because after all of that stuff happens with them in the harbor and all of that, they get back to the house and no one's there, which didn't make sense to me. I was like, wait,
where did they
how
all
did you
go?
guys get?
Yeah,
I was
where
like, how
did
did
they
you guys
go?
get back faster than everybody else? Because I think they come in later after
Yeah.
after they've already had sex. So I'm like, did you guys just not like immediately go back to port and try to figure out what's going on with the two people that fell off your boat?
They were like,
I
they're
don't know.
fine.
Yeah, they're like, they're not gonna ruin our night. But he makes her grilled cheese again. They have that kiss in the kitchen.
Yeah.
The grilled cheese is
the
like an
shower.
aphrodisiac.
Honestly,
Yeah.
for me, it would be because that grilled cheese, the second one looked even better than the first one. I don't even know how that's possible. And then they have that steamy little shower moment. I was like,
Why are they still in
okay.
their clothes in the shower? Was that
I
a
was
little
wondering
weird to
that
anybody?
too.
They
Take
were
off
they
your
were
clothes
still
first.
wet, so they wanted to heat up. Makes perfect sense. I don't know why you guys don't get it.
They
They
saw
needed
A
the
Star Is
moment.
Born with
Yeah.
Lady
Yeah.
Gaga, and they were like, let's do this but romantic.
Yeah. They needed that moment. They needed the undressing moment,
And
show
maybe it's
off Sydney
symbolic.
Sweeney. Yeah.
Feel the rain on your skin.
Yes.
That's genius.
Oh,
We cracked it.
Nailed it. No, that scene is steamy though. When they're in the kitchen and the hand goes on the
Yeah.
counter, or not counter,
They're like handprints on the
The
cabinets.
cabinet, yeah. I was like, okay, because we didn't get it in the first scene with them because it was so like cute and wholesome. And they just like talked all night and fell asleep. Oh, how cute. But this one it's like, okay, no. Gloves are off. We're going on this. And even I liked the scene between them too, because you can see there's like different shots of them in bed and they're like laughing and like rolling over and like they keep kissing each other and all this stuff. And I was like, that's cute. It's not like super serious, like a lot of sex
Yeah.
scenes in older romantic movies are this. Sex is a very serious thing. But here it's like, no, yeah, they're
having fun.
vibing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sex
hot.
fun again.
Make
Yeah.
sex fun again. Put the fun back
you
in
heard
sex.
us. Yeah. Yeah, but then B goes and says weird shit and what's his name? Ben gets so mad about it. Nobody talks to each other in this movie. I would be like, what do
Yeah.
you mean this is a mistake? What are you
Ask for
trying to tell me?
clarification.
yeah. Doesn't
Yeah.
he leave in the morning? Like he does what she
Yeah.
does. Like he doesn't like
Mhm.
stay in the room.
Yeah.
Like, he just gets up and she's like, "Ah."
Yeah.
Because she said, she's like, lately I feel like everything I do is a mistake. And he took that to mean like, oh, she thinks that us having sex just now was a mistake.
Yeah.
It's like, you could have just asked for clarification.
A simple what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like, do you mean
Easy.
this or
Yeah.
Right.
Do you mean me? Yeah.
are you not wanting to finish law school? Let's
Right.
hash this out right now.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
wouldn't
not
want to
sexy.
finish law school either. Yeah.
No.
Truly.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
And this film does. I feel you, girl.
Sorry. Yeah, no.
Well, with a Shakespeare adaptation, you know what is gonna happen at the end. That they're gonna fall in love. The wedding's gonna go off without a hitch.
Mhm.
And in every Shakespeare adaptation, they also have credits singing Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah.
Yes. Every single one. It's amazing.
Everyone that's ever been made. Yeah.
I do
100%.
like how they ended it with him jumping back into the water. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the big thing is like to get to her, to find her. He's like, call Harbor Patrol and just
That was
jumps
hilarious.
off a cliff. and then flies a helicopter again to find her.
Yeah.
And that's
he's
sweet.
facing his fears.
Yeah.
I love in movies when like the characters will go to great lengths to like chase after their love, you know? Like if
Yeah.
it's running to like in an airport to catch the plane or whatever, like him jumping into the harbor and
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in real life because we just text each other.
yeah, that's true.
We're just
Yeah,
like,
could they have
hey,
just texted? Well, I think it's about getting there. I don't know.
Yes.
They even, I think they said that in the movie, something about, she mentioned like someone jumping off a train or what did she say? I
Yeah.
don't know.
It was
Something
like the
about a train.
dad. It was the dad, B's parents.
Mhm.
Yes.
Dermot Mulroney like jumped off of a moving train to be with the mom at the Eiffel Tower or something. And he tells Ben, oh, because, you know, love is worth it. Like, or love can't wait. Something like that. Something about like needing to do that thing to show up for his now wife. And I think Glenn, when he realizes all of the kind of mistakes and everything finally settles, like the wedding happens and then his friends are like, you're an idiot. He's like, oh, this can't wait. Like, I can't drive to this place. I must take a helicopter because I'm afraid of heights and it'll show her that I am serious.
And I bought it.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Hook, line, and sinker.
No, I think for what it's worth, Anyone But You is not perfect, but it is very cute.
And there is something about, like, I love rom-com tropes. I love seeing them in movies. It's comforting. You know what's going to happen. It's hot people on a screen. Like, you know, there's a foundation there.
And the way this movie is cast is like, if we roll the tapes, every time Brie and I are like, we're talking about like dream casting or who should be this in a modernized version, because I don't know a lot of modern day actors, because there's not a lot of stars now. I'm always like Sydney Sweeney.
Right.
So this is like my dream come true. And Glen Powell too, because he was great and set it up.
Yeah. I think if you want to talk about like pairing people up for future rom-coms, I think Glenn and Zoe should definitely get back together for another rom-com. I think their chemistry is just so good, and I think they play really well opposite each other in the sense that Zoe is really goofy. And I think, not to say that Sydney Sweeney can't be goofy, but sorry, girl, you're too hot. I'm sorry. She's too beautiful to be believably goofy. I'm like, no, you're not allowed. You have to be hot. So I just think she had like Zoe has this very like kind of bubbly, goofy personality as a person, so it plays well in movies. But yeah, I still think Sydney Sweeney's a talented actor. I just like Glen Powell more in this movie.
I'd love a J-Law Glen Powell combo.
Oh
That could be fun.
I thought you said J-Lo for a second.
And J-Lo.
Oh no. Get J-Lo out of here. Yeah. That would be really fun. Or even honestly, maybe I don't know if Emma Stone's a little too old for Glen Powell, but even Emma Stone, I feel like that could be really fun.
And speaking of J-Law, like she was recently in No Hard Feelings, which I thought was a great little rom-com.
She did great.
Recent rom-com.
No Hard
Feelings.
Yeah, she did a really good job in that too. Like I was expecting it to be really bad, if I'm being honest. I went to that movie theater being like, oh, this is gonna suck. And I left being like, oh wait, that was actually really fun.
No, I love when that happens. And so Anyone But You was a box office success.
Yeah.
Which it's like it's the first time in a really long time where I wouldn't call it a sleeper hit, but like right out of the gate, it wasn't number one at the box office. It took time to grow and then get re-released for Valentine's Day.
Right.
And I think that's very special.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone really expected it to be good, or like a lot of people expected it to be worse, or they, I don't know, maybe expected something different, and then it just ended up being like a watchable movie for a lot of people. Like people went to see it.
Feels like rom-coms are coming back.
Yeah, do you guys think?
I hope so.
do you guys think rom-coms are coming back? What's the Rom Complex's prediction?
Oh gosh. I hope so. I hope that a movie like this, because it was successful at the box office, will show producers and studios that there is a hunger for it. I think rom-coms get kind of pigeonholed into this, like, oh, this is like women's films and these are, you know, chick flicks, right? The chick flick genre. But, you know, prior to like the 90s, rom-coms were just films that happened. Like When Harry Met Sally is a beautiful rom-com that was a movie. It's a classic film that people talk about, right? So I think if we are able to get rom-coms kind of out of this, oh, these are just for women, and a lot of people who write rom-coms these days don't actually like rom-coms. So we just need the joy back in rom-coms, and I think there's definitely an appetite for it because people are going to see this, even though, you know, it may not have been the best example of a rom-com.
And you're totally right. I think rom-coms are kind of in their little rut until people figure out what they liked about rom-coms before and what that can translate to now, because we don't, like you had said, Nikki, we don't have the stars in the same way. So it's kind of hard to compare because we're not getting those like stars that are drawing in people to those rom-coms, like a Tom Hanks or, you know, Meg Ryan. It's just a little,
or even like a
now.
Jen Aniston and you know, Jen was doing lots of rom-coms. She was pulling people in.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a difference between liking the formula of a rom-com and being like, I'm just gonna watch something that hits this formula, and then writing like a cool rom-com that does something interesting with that formula, you know, which I'm hoping we get more. Of course, there's always a place for the former, the Hallmark Channel, but like, I'm hoping we get more of the latter coming out. Because love stories are still a cool story to be told.
Love stories are for everybody. They're not just for women. I don't understand why it gets so. It's not a women's genre. Men fall in love too.
Yeah. And we want it and we gravitate to the right ones. I mean, we have the, you know, the My Big Fat Greek Weddings or the Crazy Rich Asians. Like people, if you've got mail, people go to things. It's just, you have to be sold it in the right way, perhaps.
Yeah, and I think there is a way to, I don't know if you guys are big Emily Henry fans, if you guys read any Emily Henry, but she is a rom-com writer who all of her books, she's not reinventing the wheel with the rom-com genre. She is giving you she's giving you the friends to lovers or the enemies to lovers. She's giving you the one bed trope or the fake fiance. Like she's giving you those things that we love in the genre, but there's something about the way that she writes it that it's still unexpected, and you're like, oh wow, what a beautiful moment, or like what a beautiful character arc for this person. And so I think there is and she's super popular like in the romance reading community as well, so it's like there's a hunger for it. We just got to I think she's actually adapting one of her books to a movie, so fingers crossed, because I think that would be a great rom-com to watch.
Dream castings for that.
Oh my gosh.
Sydney
They're floating
Sweeney?
Iowa Debris and Paul Mescal. And I was like, if that is a real pairing, I will be deceased. You guys can attend my funeral if you want. I will die if that's the real casting.
Actually, I'd love to see Iowa Debris in a rom-com.
I would too.
She's
With
so
Glen
cute.
Powell?
Oh my God.
She can go with anyone. I would watch her with literally anyone.
I think she would give the right humor to balance out Glen Powell. Not that he's not funny, but she's like really funny.
Yeah, I do feel like we need like leads with like really off the charts chemistry to help maybe sell these rom-coms.
Agreed. And comedic chops.
And the comedic chops,
yeah.
Put me in a rom-com. I'll do it.
Me too. I volunteer. I'll take one for the team.
Our chemistry's off the charts. We could get it.
Say less. The Rom Complex. The next in Anyone But Two.
Yes.
Anyone But Two.
Please.
Well, before we wrap this up, I have to ask, Sam, Shelby, what are your favorite romantic comedies?
Well, okay. So a more recent one that I know Sam and I both really like is Sleeping with Other People, starring Jason Sudeikis and Alison Brie. Fantastic,
Obsessed.
fun little movie. Just a delight to watch.
Yeah, 100%. And I know we've talked about When Harry Met Sally a billion times already in this episode, but that is top tier. I watched it again over Christmas and I was like, God, this movie is fantastic. Every single time I watch it, I'm just like, I believe in love again.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And Sleeping with Other People is one of those films that I saw back in like 2016 and like I kind of forgot about it, but now it's getting its flowers. And I'm like, yes,
It's so
thank you.
good.
The same thing happened to me. Like I watched it and I was like, that was good. And then I forgot about it and watched it again. And I was like, wait, that's good.
Yeah.
I
just want to
haven't seen it.
No, I just want to say, I'm saying it live on the podcast. I have championed that movie since I saw it the first time. And I was like, this movie is fantastic. Everyone should watch it. It's so good. So definitely go watch that one.
Yes.
I will.
Go watch Sleeping with Other People and perhaps Anyone But You, but definitely Anyone But Two, starring the Rom Complex.
Thank you. Thank you. We need the publicity.
Now I want to make a movie poster.
That's just the marketing for this episode. It's just you guys' faces instead of Sydney Sweeney, Glen Powell.
Yeah.
Yes. We're doing the Titanic. Titanic me, Shelby. Yeah.
Well, would you guys like to plug the Rom Complex?
Yeah, check wherever you listen to podcasts. Come find us, the Rom Complex. So like Spotify, Apple, whatever. Over 200 episodes to choose from. Just pick a movie that you like and listen to that episode. Or start anywhere. Really, you can listen to any of them, but I hope you do and enjoy them. Also, listen to our I don't know when this comes out, but on April, oh gosh, is it 11th?
It's next week. I
Yes.
believe
so.
Yeah.
On April 11th, listen to our episode with guests, the Late to the Party podcast.
Yes, we went on y'all's podcast to talk about the Sex and the City movie.
So much fun.
A great little kiki.
Yeah.
And
So
this will probably
fun.
come out. Anyone But You is gonna come out on April 23rd on Netflix. So we're hoping to
cute.
put it out then.
Perfect.
Oh, perfect. That's right after my birthday.
Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Is it Taurus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Taurus. I'm the 21st. I give big Taurus energy. So yeah.
I love Tauruses. Are you a Pisces?
I'm a Gemini.
Gemini. She's a Gemini. Yeah. So we're
Leah
perfect
Gemini.
together. Yeah.
I do like the Pisces guests though. I really like Pisces. A lot of my friends have like Pisces placements. So.
I do. It's in my big three. But yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on and inviting
Yes.
us on your podcast.
Thank you so much for having us. This is so much fun. I love when we get to work with other podcasts and do like a little double feature. This is great.
Yeah, y'all are great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
We're big fans. So,
Oh, I'm blushing.
well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thanks. Yep. We will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Late to the Party is hosted by Nikki Jensen and Brie Picconi. Our podcast is produced by Grace Dunbar and edited by Brie.
That's me. Thanks for listening. Make sure to rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next week. Bye.